Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome to the PTA Postgame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Sorry, I looked over at the presser, and I thought the presser was over, but Matt was just staring at the camera like this. So pissed off right now. So let's do this. Let's go to the coach real quick before we get cranked up, since he's already at the podium. Just like Emilio said, let's get this over with. So here is Coach LaFleur at the podium. Tim, if you'll just get any screen grab ready for me. There you go. All right, here we go, guys. Coach LaFleur.
Made some plays. So
well, that's really low, isn't it?
Ultimately, collectively, as a unit, everybody got to play a little bit better.
I want you guys to see his face.
I don't know. I mean, I got to go back and look at it.
He is pissed.
He was about to hit him with the, I don't know, I'm not a
doctor. Look at that right there. Urgh.
Which one are you talking about early on? Yeah, it's just a gut thing. I mean, said that a million times.
Going for it on fourth.
If you feel good about it, then
it's tough, man.
You go for it. If you don't, then you're going to kick a field goal.
I just caught the ball.
We thought we had a play that we liked. And, Jaden went on the route. Jordan worked the weak side. It is what it is. I'm not, you can go, it's a pick a side play. And unfortunately, we picked the side that ended up getting covered. But that's just, that happens sometimes. And it's not anybody's fault. They did a good job covering the one side because ultimately they peeled with our back in that situation. And then there was a backer just hanging for the slant window. So they did a good job of taking that away. And we went back across the board late to Jaden Reed. And I mean, it's just one of those, it was a tough play to make.
Hey, everybody in the chat, can you hear this? Let us know if you can hear this. I'll stop it if you can't.
No, we did. It's just, it was early in the game. And I thought to take the points was the right play. So, you can second guess all those after the fact. But in the moment, you got to do what you think is right. Yeah, it was a big-time play. Well, I wouldn't say it's the only option. We had other options, but we felt that was the best option to go with. And right now, unfortunately, we're down two safeties, and it is what it is. And but we got to be better collectively. Defensively? I mean, you got to get pressure on these guys if they're going to drop back that many times. And if you don't, it's going to be a long day because it's tough to go try to single coverage a guy like Justin Jefferson. Then you got Addison, then you got Hawkinson. Like they got multiple players. And
some dogs on
Naylor
that
was
team.
making plays out there, so they got a lot of good players. All right. Yeah, that was on us as coaches. Like, called the personnel. Somebody heard it different, and that's how we got 12 in the huddle. That's the first time that's happened in a really long time in my time here, and it can't happen because that was a critical penalty. It's 2nd and 5, now it goes 2nd and 10, and now you're in kind of those get back on track situations, and those are drive stopping penalties. So collectively, we got to be better. We got to make sure that we hear what's called and get the right people in the game. That's not on the players at all.
All right, let's go ahead and break away there. And again, that was Coach LaFleur at the podium. Thank you for putting that up there, Tim. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, so obviously the Packers drop a tough one here in Minnesota, 27-25. The point spread, the Vikings were 1-point favorites. So, boy, Vegas was all over it once again, right? being right around that actual number. Now, early on, it was going, boy, they missed this one. But obviously the Packers came roaring back. Just initial thoughts. We'll go around the horn with it real quick. Listen, it's tough to see a team play as bad as they did in the first half, but it's also pretty damn cool to see them fight all the way to the end. That really tells you what you got in a team. And I see all kinds of really cool comments here. Matter of fact, let's hit King Trons real quick. Well, wrong boot, wrong ass. I think he meant belt to ass. Let it roll off. I almost created an image with KOC with a belt, just to be fair about it, because let me tell you, he was belt to ass tonight. You got to give credit where credit's due, right? So King Tron, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We're on the same page there. I'm seeing comments too, like, are we a Super Bowl contender? We'll approach that here in a minute. It's really the tale of two halves. That's normal in the NFL. You see that a lot. You really do. You'll see a team. That's why you get these great comebacks, and that's why they refer to it on Red Zone Channel as the witching hour, right? Where wins become losses, losses become wins. I think if you were to kind of sum it up, the whole game as a whole, why did we lose that game? It's hard for me to come up with, here's the reason we lost that game. And you can look at that as a positive. You can look at it as a negative. You can go, man, we did enough stuff good to be in it at the end. But you can also say, we did a whole lot of stuff bad that put us behind the eight ball once again against the same team, right? But again, I'm going to lean on the fact that they played their ass off in the second half. They kept fighting and tried to win this ball game. It says a lot about the makeup of a team. It really does. Carrington Valentine, boys, I think we got this one. I do. And I know he wasn't perfect today, but boy, oh boy, him breaking off of coverage and reading the quarterback, I'm pretty sure that was another zone coverage pick. That's a positive that I'm coming away with. The negative for me is Jordan Love. It was rough watching that early, but if I'm being 100% honest, and I don't want to say what I'm about to say because people are going to say, Clayton, you're a Jordan Love apologist, you're refusing to see it. There was many times that they would show the wire cam, and you would look at the route combination, and I'm going, he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell right there. Yeah. They were bringing pressure, and we had a 12-yard curl. We had a 13-yard out
cross. Yeah.
And we had a crosser that it's like –
then a 9 route. It's like –
now, is that on Jordan to change the protection and buy himself time? Possibly. I don't know. We have to look at the tape. But, again, I can understand the people that go, boy, Jordan had a bad game. But I always try to put it into context. And the first time as a fan I really noticed this stuff was way back when. I'm trying to think of the quarterback. You remember Kyle Orton for the Chicago Bears way back in the day? I remember everybody roasting him. He's a horrible quarterback. And that's the first time as a fan I was watching the route concepts. And I was going, boys, he ain't got a chance. Like, there's 3 deep routes, and they've got pressure in his face. Like, there's nothing he can do. There was a couple times I felt like that tonight, but it could be me being a Jordan Love apologist too. John Baker in the chat with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, I was hollering at the TV, take the 3 points, Matt. Hopefully they learn and are better for the playoffs. Yeah, and again, when I just said there's multiple things you could say you could do better, that's the first thing that came to mind. Was like, you take those 3 points, you probably win that game, right? Because it was a chip shot. Wasn't we inside the 30, boys?
Oh, yeah.
You like your chances of hitting that field goal. The other thing, too, was the phantom offsides call. I've got the screen grab. I'll pull it up for y'all just to show you. Their right guard was a full helmet offsides, and not a damn player on our side was offsides, and we got called for it. And, again, you say, why does that matter? Because they missed the field goal, got the offsides, and then five yards later they hit the field goal. Again, what was the difference in the score? 2 points. So we can go round and round about that. But, John Baker, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We are definitely on the same page there. But like I said on Twitter, I am a extremely boring football fan. I'm taking the points every single time. That's just Let's go around the horn here, Tim. You start, or Emilio, whoever wants to start. It doesn't matter to me, man. Y'all go right ahead. Give me your initial thoughts on the game.
Go ahead, Emilio. Looking at the plays and stuff, we had 17 first downs, Vikings 26. I mean, they had 70 plays. We had 56. I'm not completely upset with the defense. They saved us with a turnover. I think Jordan Love's struggles in the first half were brutal. They had absolutely hurt us. Josh Jacobs' fumble off the first drive hurt us. When the whole plan all week, in the interviews was to get started fast, get going quick, and you go your first drive and fumble. I mean, that's just wind out of your sails, especially the way we were moving the ball. It could have been a different game right off the bat. So I guess it's just a huge learning experience moving forward. It's going to be a lot of tape watching, a lot to look, forward to. I guess silver lining is, do you want to come and play the Vikings? Would you rather the Vikings have home field advantage if they go in and win next week and be done with the Lions, and then the Lions fans can't be cheering, in their field, stuff like that. So I guess I'd take that, but it was a tough game.
Yeah.
Look at you trying to stay positive. I love it, Emilio. You're fighting it like hell. You want to go off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I guess, to be honest, brutally honest, I feel like we got outcoached a little bit today. I think that the game plan seemed solid, but it seemed like everything that we were ready to do, they were ready to adjust for. And we saw Jordan making checks. You talk about protections. We saw him reset the protection, and then you saw Minnesota communicating and then blowing that protection up and getting pressure in his face. So it's almost like they had our playbook or something. It really looked that way. Probably more so on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. I thought Hafley got a little blitz happy there at the wrong times, and got a little man coverage happy at the wrong times. Losing another safety and having to make adjustments is not the time to start, blitzing constantly and manning up guys. And those were the plays that were killing us. So, B-Flow did his thing today, man. He really did. And that Vikings team, they were prepared for everything we threw at them today. They knew we were going to try and run the ball. They were ready. So I think the players executed as best they could. You can talk about Jordan being a little shaky, but I don't think Coach LaFleur did him any favors in the first 3 quarters of the game with the play calls. So it was a little tough.
Definitely. All right, we had Jordan Love at the podium. If you'll give me a screen grab here, let's see what he had to say. We'll try to pick up somewhere here in the middle.
Guys, we got in the locker room, and
That's got to be a Wildy question.
Yeah, like you said, you prepare throughout a week, and teams always have their flavors of the week and what they might be throwing at you that week. So, that's part of it. You gotta come out and adjust to whatever they might be throwing at you, whether it's something you've planned for or something you haven't planned for. And I don't think we did that well enough early on there. And then it just comes down to going out there and making those plays, and we didn't make those plays. Yeah, it's tough. It's obviously it ended up being a close game, but we know it's hard when you put yourself in a hole and are down early and just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So there's so much stuff to clean up and get better at. But, I think we're still a really good team. We can put up points, but when you put yourself in a hole, it's hard to climb out of that hole. And when it's a good team like the Vikings, it makes it even tougher. So we got to figure out ways to start faster and put up points. Not much. Just got to come out there, and when we play these teams, it comes down to execution and making plays.
Yeah, this is pretty vanilla. We might as well just check out of it, to be honest with you. You could tell they were prepped. Hey, this coach speak.
Yeah, they came out, and I think they pretty much played like 44-man, kind of 2-man-ish. And, I just didn't see anybody winning on the routes. So
that's what I seen.
I felt like that safety that was over the top was a little bit lower, and I wanted to try and give Bo a shot down the field. And clearly, we didn't win out there. Safety was a little deeper than I thought. But, I'll have to look at it and see if there was anything I could have done differently. Yeah.
All right, let's just check it out again. If it's just going to be kind of vanilla answers, you know what I mean? We're not really getting anything. I'd rather get on people's comments in the chat. He said, what did he say? 44 man? Was he talking about 2-man under, Emilio?
I think so.
Yeah, 2-man under, man. If you're not going to run on it, boy, good luck completing the pass. Because basically what you got is trail underneath in man coverage and 2 safeties over the top. Taking the shots away, and maybe that's why things kind of got slowed down a lot. I would not have expected them to play that much 2-man under, although we talked about it. They did play, 5% 2-man under, I think.
Yep.
That's what we've seen. So, again, tough game for sure. Let's go to the chat real quick. Dead fish on that field goal at the end of the half. They said it was on Cooper, but I'm thinking it was on someone else. Cooper looked like he lined up onside. So listen, I've got the grab here. We're going to hit on it. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I do want to touch on it real quick. This is what I was trying to figure out. So first of all, you see the screen grab here, right? So the center is 42. The snapper is 42, I should say, right? And someone did do a ruler and adjust it and everything. They spent a lot of time on it. It was evenly across the field. Cooper was close. He was actually a lot closer than this picture would show, but he was on sides according to that picture. The thing that got me is look at 76.
76, yeah. He's off sides.
And the ball has not been snapped yet. I know there's some people going, somebody commented and said, has the ball been snapped yet? And I'm like, it had.
Does it look like it has been?
That's what I said. I'm like, I think he's just being a smart ass, to be honest with you. But when you see that, it's like, how many times have they called that this year too? Remember, they would call that on. Didn't they call it on us? Were we in Florida for a game and they called that on us? If I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it might have been Jacksonville where a helmet was offsides and they threw it. And it's like, boy, how often do they throw that flag? But then you go back and look at it like, man, this helmet is offsides. I mean, you got to live with it. Our penalty's a penalty. But
the only thing I think is, when they set the ball there, then they give the long snapper a lot of leeway with moving that thing around. And that's, I think, where they might need to tighten up a little bit. I mean, the dude can grab it, spin it, roll it around. I mean, with Josh Myers, you got to grab it and kind of – you can't be sliding it. You try to inch it forward a little bit, get what you can. But, I mean, the dude, if he pulled it off that, if it was on the second yard hash right there and he pulled it back another 6 inches, I mean, I feel like you got to respect where he set the ball to start a snap as the line of scrimmage, not where he grabbed it and pulled it back and they let him go. I mean, at that point, it should have at least been a false start, illegal ball movement, whatever they would call it.
Yeah. So, again, is this the reason we lost the game? I can see how people would look at it and go, hey, you lost by 2 points. This gave them a field goal, basically.
So much happened before this, though.
Technically, yes, but there's a lot of stuff that happened.
The pre-snap penalties, again, that's what I was screaming about at the beginning of the season. They crept back up, and at the worst time. And if it was a post-snap penalty, it was on a third down, or it was on like a convert. That one Josh Jacobs touchdown, we would have been in business. Sean Ryan, what are you doing? I mean, like, the dude's already passed you. If you want to, fall over him, cool, but.
Right. No, I understand the frustration there, too. Let's see. Ari Ironminer should have kicked that field goal early. I completely agree, Ironminer. But, again, I don't know, man. It seems like if I were to make that comment in real time, and you guys correct me if you disagree, in real time, if you make that comment, like, just take the points, it seems like the majority of fans say, no, go for it. But am I wrong there, or do you guys feel like I'm misjudging that? How do you feel about it? Let's start there, Emilio. That field goal attempt. Now, obviously, we're looking at it through a 2-point loss. Hindsight's 2020. In the moment, were you upset about us going for it?
That was the one on Reed's crosser, right? Where he dropped it. That's what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the field goal that Matt chose to should have kicked that field goal early.
But we went for it on fourth.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the play you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I honestly, I'm not mad at the play call. I think that after playing the Lions, I think Matt got a lot of heat about not going, not moving forward with the team, not trying to, be aggressive with it. So maybe push the envelope here, see how much he actually likes going for it. Maybe he realizes, hey, that can't fly. If this is going to be our path forward, we're never going to be at home. I think that we still need to work on our pre-snap snap. It looked like what it was at first was Jordan's kick was the snap count. If it's on third kick or whatever, Josh Myers would check each time. But again, you still have both tackles looking deep inside. And then, Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker both have to reset and find their edge guy coming at them. I think we might need to figure out something else there. Silent count, go on Josh or something. I don't know. But I mean, it's that's tough.
So with the field goal, do you agree they should have kicked it, or
I would have kept going for it. In the moment, I would have gone for it.
Got it. What about you, Tim? How you feel about it, man?
No, I'm on your side with this one, Clayton. I was screaming.
Boring ass people, aren't we?
Yeah, I was screaming. Well, here's the thing, man. You're on the road. You're on the damn road. You're in a dome.
That's a good point.
You're already in a ball game that you're down. 7-3 at that point. You understand that. You could kind of see what type of game was developing even early on. Take the damn points, man. You're on the road. You've got a kicker you can rely on.
Right. It'd be different if it was Carlson or somebody, right?
Right. Or you had any question, or are we within range? We were well within range. I mean, the ball was pretty much centered between the hashes. I mean, ideal situation to just go ahead and take the 3, go down 7-6 at that point. And then, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? If the rest of the game played out the way it did, we probably win by a point.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that a head coach is, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like Emilio was saying, you know, you're going to catch heat if you're not aggressive enough. You know, if Matt LaFleur, you know, goes for it there and we convert, we're not having this conversation, right?
Right. I mean, and it hit Reed in the hands. It's not like it was, you look for Dobb on the slant, it hit Reed in the hands. My only push on that is like, if we didn't fumble on the first drive, if we went down and got points on the first drive, would we even need to be Matt? You know, maybe you do. Hey, let's go for it on 4th. Let's try to turn it up here. If it was a 7-7 game kind of thing, but it, like you said,
I was fired up when we took the ball. Like we talked about in the pregame. I'm like, oh boy, let's go.
Really?
Yeah, I was fired up. Take the ball. I'm thinking, go down. Let's put a tutter on the board.
We were marching down the field,
and then we had that turnover. You know.
Yeah.
Killed us.
And Jacobs knew right away. You saw him punch the ground right after it was over. I mean, he knew.
Yeah. And for me, it was like, as soon as they said we chose to take the ball, I went, oh no. I immediately thought of halftime. And again, that's just how I fan you. I've been pretty vocal. I'm very, very team defer. But now that you guys mention it, you're right. I mean, he did go right down the damn field, and it was kind of a freak fumble, right?
Yeah.
So,
but to push back on your point, Clayton, they did have 11 total drives. We had 10. So that's, I mean, did they get that extra drive because of it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. Them getting it back after halftime, and we'd have to look at what they did on that drive after halftime too, right? I can't remember if they went right down and scored or not. I don't think they did, because they won the middle 8 at the end of the first half, right? So I think they won the middle 8. And here are those crucial numbers we'll hit real quick. Turnover differential was 1-1. They won the middle 8 6-0. They won the explosive play battle 6-2. We had 2 explosive plays in this game. Was 2. That is wild to think about. If I got that right, and I'll go back and double check it later. And then first down passes, we were 9 of 12. A game like this, you just got to kind of, because you're down by so much. Of course, you're going to pass on first down in the second half, right? That's just the way that goes. So, and again, J. Cole agrees with you, Tim. We're on the road. We should have took those points. Dane with the super chat. Thank you so much, Dane. He says, yeah. Am I saying that right, guys? Yeah. I can tolerate Detroit getting the number 1 seed, but hell to the no for Minnesota. As far as the Super Bowl goes, anyone but the Queens, in my opinion. There you go. And again, thank you for the super chat there, Dane. We appreciate you, buddy. This is a good question for Two-Tone, too. Are we still Super Bowl contenders? All right. Is this team still Super Bowl contenders? And we see you, Josh. We'll get to yours in just a second, buddy. Let's go around the horn with that. How do you guys feel about that? Are we Super Bowl contenders?
I would say yes, because the last time this team won a Super Bowl, nobody thought we were contenders then either.
It's always going to be the argument, isn't it?
I would say, yeah. We're a playoff team. If you're one of the 7, you're contending. You know, I mean, it's a big league. You know, wild card all the way to the 1 seed, it doesn't matter. We see wild cards storm through the playoffs. We see 1 seeds get bounced after the bye. The whole point is to make it to the dance, which we did. You know, it's real funny how the same element of the fan base that was like, well, if we lose this one, it doesn't really matter. We're still a playoff team. You're the same guys that are devastated and frothing at the mouth with anger right now over this team. So it's kind of confusing. I think we are still contenders, yes. Now, the thing that concerns me is the mounting injury issues as we go into the playoffs, as we now lose Devontae Wyatt and Zane Anderson. Concussion looks like. We had a couple other guys get banged up today. This is the time you want to get healthy, not banged up. So, but I would say, yeah, I still feel like we can contend. I really do. Feel free to roast me if you want, but I believe in this football team.
If we got blown out this game, if they got it over 30 and we were still at 10 points, I would say no, but I'd still think that this team is a contender. By the way, they fight and, they don't give up. Our old Packers team.
We didn't lay down at 17-3, right? We stayed in the game. Yep.
When we were down 27-10 at the start of the 4th, I was like, well, I was upset. Trust me. I took a shower at halftime, tried to wash the game off me. Right. But the down 17 in the 4th, we were there before with the Saints. Obviously it's not the same team. This team has come back from that. They don't quit. Our old Packers teams years ago, if we were down 17, it's a wrap. Turn the TV off. I'm going to go get some housework done because it's not even worth it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm at least happy we can continue watching these games. And it's like, all right, we've got a shot.
Yeah. And again, man, it's the youngest team in the league. And I'm always going to say that because it's important. When was the last time? And I said this, I bet I pissed a lot of people off this week because the comment I made was, do I think this is the year the Packers win the Super Bowl? If I'm being brutally honest, I don't think it is. And what that means is if I had to put money on it, no, I would not bet the farm on the Packers win the Super Bowl this year. Do I think they can? Absolutely they can. Like Tim said, they can get hot at any minute, right? And we were playing some of our best ball coming into this game, and we played. I mean, that second half, guys, we scored, what was it in the second half? 22 points in the second half.
Yep.
So we outscored them 22-14 in the second half. And, you know, are we still a Super Bowl contender? Yeah, before the game, we said this in the pregame show, too, and I'm sure people rolled their eyes. It's like, I could see this game being the Vikings blowing the Packers out. I could see the Packers blowing the Vikings out. And I could see this coming down to a one-score game. Like, everything's on the table with this game, right? And it so happens it came down to a 2-point game. Like, the people that are, like, crazy upset with this outcome, here's what I want to ask. What outcome would you not have been crazy upset with? A win? So you're saying –
Oh, they'd have still been pissed. If we'd have won by a point,
we shouldn't have won like that. Yeah.
We won 34-0 last week, and I heard more bitching then than we did today. Like, that's what's wild to think about. It really is. But, and again, it's not the majority. It's the loud minority, like we always say. But, yeah, Two-Tone, I think I've got to say, I think they are Super Bowl contenders. I do. And Tim, it's a boring answer, but it's so true. Like, if you're one of the 7, you're a Super Bowl contender. It's that simple. It really is. Yep. Josh Martin with the Super Chat. Thank you, buddy. He disagrees. He says, I'm not feeling too confident in this team. I can understand that, too.
Yeah.
You watch that first half, I can see how someone would feel like that, you know? I think I have a lot more confidence than probably Josh does in the team because, again, you can get hot at any second. And when
we
you
already got our ticket, right, Clay?
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at the passing stats for Jordan in the first half where he was like 50 yards passing, I can see how someone, if you're a box score watcher and you just go to the box score and go, oh, man, he's mid, he's trash, he's blah. But then if you watch what's happening on the field and you look at the route concepts, again, I'm of the opinion watching it, I'm going, boy, he didn't have a chance on that play. He didn't have a chance on that play. Like the throw to Reed across the middle where Reed tried to make the diving catch, that's on Jordan. There's no doubt about it, man. That's an inaccurate pass. But that's one of a dozen where I watched them was just like, boy, they had everything covered up right there. You know, so kind of is what it is. Thank you for the Super Chat, Josh. TC fan with the Super Chat says the problem is there's no consistency in the decisions. He kicks from the 5-yard line and then goes for it from the 15. If you're talking about, I think he's talking about Mac, right? And I got to be real. You guys know there's not a bigger Matt LaFleur stand than this guy right here. I'm constantly pointing out he's top 10 in winning percentage. I'm constantly pointing out he's underrated. I'm constantly pointing out he's always getting shafted when it comes to being in the talk for Coach of the Year, right? But I hate that answer of it's just a gut feeling. It's just a gut feeling. That when do you go for it? You know what I'm talking about? That's what he said just now. I told you guys before, it's just a gut feeling. I hate that. I absolutely despise it. Because, like, success is a planned event, right? In anything you do. Business, sports, anything. If you go back and watch the Super Bowl where the New England Patriots came back, what was it, 28-3 or whatever it was?
Against Atlanta.
They came back on the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know that week going in, Bill Belichick said, I feel like this is going to be a close game. Let's put an extra 2-point conversion play in. That's what he said. They're getting their ass kicked 28-3. And you would think at that moment, boy, he was wrong on that. They're getting boat race. It comes down to overtime because they came back and tied it up. The game-winning play was that third 2-point conversion play call that he put in the game plan that week because he just had a hunch that, hey, it's going to come down to the wire.
Might need it. Yep.
Success is a planned event. So this whole, I just got to kind of see how I'm feeling to decide if I'm going to go for it on 4th down. When you're down, what was the score? 7-0, right?
7-3.
Or 7-3. So it would have been 7-6, right? Like, I'm sorry, man. I just can't get on board with that. But again, I'm a boring fan. Stick to the book. What are we doing? What's the plan? Stick to the plan.
I guess the only thing just to kind of defend Matt a little bit in this is maybe it's just kind of goes hand in hand with the logic of, you know, every game is a different game. We don't
filling out the game
plan the entire 18-week season and do the same thing every week. So I'm guessing maybe that's what he may have meant as far as, hey, it's the situation, it's the down, the distance, the game, the matchup, where are we? Which again, I'm still with you. I disagree. Should have kicked it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for, I mean, you see Dan Campbell, he's pretty predictable and pretty consistent, right? And it works sometimes, but Detroit's crapped the bed plenty of times this year trying to go for it on fourth down. So it's not a guarantee. There are no guarantees in the league. So
yeah, exactly. All right. And again, TC fan, thank you so much for the super chat there, bud. We appreciate you greatly. Brian Pumper got the best profile pick here on
that's our boy. That's our Philly boy. Remember he came in before the pregame.
That's right. And we talked about this profile picture in week 1. If you don't know what that profile picture is, you got to go find that video. It is hilarious. I'm not going to bore everybody with the story again, but just type in on YouTube or anywhere, probably find it on Twitter too, court hearing from Carr. Oh my God, bro. It is just hilarious. So anyway, he says Brazil rematch, eye emoji, just here scouting. There you go, Brian. It could be, right?
Could be.
Listen, the Packers got an uphill battle if it is Philly. I mean, they're playing some damn good football, no doubt about it. So those Eagles are soaring. That's for sure. What do you guys think about that if it was Packers-Eagles? I mean, that's very realistic, right?
I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy with our rush defense as of recently. I mean, we've really sharpened it up. If we're looking at this game, 69 rushing yards for the Vikings on 26 attempts. Come on, 2.7 yards a carry. I'll eat that up. Saquon, it's a good back. So it'll be a challenge. I think we are absolutely blessed to have Cooper. And I'm just going to say I think we kind of missed Quay today. But besides that, the defense has been humming.
I want to ask you about that, and we're going to get back to Brian's super chat here and talk about what the potential matchup could be. When you say we missed Quay today, specify that if you don't mind, Emilio. Take it a level, an extra step.
I would say that we missed him in our Tampa 2 looks for sure. I think his coverage, backpedaling is a lot sharper than Eric Wilson's. And I do think that his kind of consistency on where he is and knows where to be at all times, I think that really benefits us. I think he really would keep the defense together. I think on an injury like that with Zane, when you lose a safety and the communication to get back to the secondary breaks down, you got to get it over to the nickel. And if Bullard's spurring down, all that stuff, I think it runs a lot smoother with Quay. And I think that kind of stuff you see, when he's gone. But that would be my take if it's hot or not. Got it.
All right, Tim, and you agree with that, right? You think we missed Quay a lot today?
I think the middle of the field would have looked a lot different today on those passing looks, especially, a little bit of help on Hawkinson. We saw Jefferson get some targets in the middle today. I agree wholeheartedly. I think Quay is way better at that, like you said, backwards movement and even the shuttle left to right too. Just having that knack to be around the football. We all know that his strength is coverage as a linebacker, and we were missing that today. We really were. And I think I don't want to be negative. I really don't, but I've seen enough of Javon Bullard at safety. We talked about this. We talked about this ad nauseum leading up to this game, and I was standing on my desk screaming about keep him in the slot, keep him in the slot. We kind of had no choice today, did we? And we had to put him back there, and we get a glimpse of what that looks like. So we got to really figure out what the plan is going into the postseason with that opposite safety. If in fact Williams and Zane aren't going to play, because I don't think it can be Bullard. I think we have to look at moving someone up or moving someone over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a fair point. All right, so to go back to Brian's super chat here, Brazil rematch, just here scouting. Appreciate you, Brian. I'm going to drop your comment down there. We'll get to you next, Randy. Appreciate you. So what would it take for the Packers to play Philly? Washington's kicking off right now against Atlanta. Let's say Washington wins that game. Boom. All of a sudden the Packers are the 7 seed, and they're going to Philly as the 2 seed. Okay? That's how that sits right there.
That's as of week 17, though. What happens if we go in and, what happens if we go in and beat Bears, and if Washington wins, what happens?
Yeah, see. Okay.
And then if Washington beats the Cowboys?
Same thing.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's what it's looking like. Yeah, if Washington wins out and we beat the Bears. If Washington wins tonight, they beat the Cowboys next week, and then, of course, we beat the Bears next week, we will be going to Philly, no doubt. And Minnesota. So Minnesota right now is in the driver's seat, right? Now, if Detroit beats them next week, then it's Detroit in the 1 seed, and Minnesota falls back to the 5 seed.
You think that's Sunday night? They'll flex that for sure?
Oh, they should. They should. Hey, I'll have me a daddy soda at 12 watching that. You know what I'm saying? So, again, Brian, thank you for swinging through, buddy, our resident Eagles fan in here, giving us a little scouting report here. All right, let's go to Randy Cleavers with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, we are good young team. Sorry. Well, we are a good young team and another year or so to become great. See, that's kind of how I've been feeling here lately, Randy. It's what I was saying earlier in the week is like, it feels like, yeah, we've got a shot. We could get hot and win this whole thing. But it's starting to feel like that year before Brett Favre and his Packers in the 90s won the Super Bowl. It's like that year before, like, we're just a piece or two away, right? Or maybe it's just another 6 or 7 games of experience away from everybody hitting their top, that top level of play and being able to kind of go on and win that Super Bowl. When you look at like what the Packers did, think of it this way. Last year, we beat the Cowboys, beat the brakes off of them in the playoffs, right? Then you come into this year, and obviously you're locking up a playoff berth with 2 weeks to go in the season. This kind of feels like the year that we got beat by the Cardinals in the playoffs in that shootout in overtime when Aaron Rodgers, had the strip sack. It kind of feels like that year. It doesn't mean we can't win it, but it does feel like we're like right there. And then next year you sign Howard Green, right? You sign a couple of key pieces and bang, you got enough to get over the hump. But who knows, man? Again, anything can happen for sure. So I think you make a great point there, Randy. Anybody got a comment there on Randy's super chat?
Good young team.
What's that?
I was just going to say, yeah, Tim, it is a good young team. I think that we are close. So it could happen this year, obviously, but I think we might be better suited in the next couple of years. But it would be sweet to roll into the draft with a Lombardi.
It would be awesome. There's no doubt about it, man.
I agree with Randy's comment, too. I think we're a good young team. Another year or so, we could become great. And I'm not saying Randy's saying this, but I don't agree with the sentiment that just because we lost to the Vikings that we're done.
Right.
I mean, we're capable of beating good teams. I think we can hang with anyone in the league. And, we just have to prove it. And, we'll see, man. I don't want to come at things from the, this, I know what's going to happen angle. You've got a lot of people that are they're like, oh, that's it. We're running done. Well, maybe next year. It's like, you have no idea. We've ran the table before. We can run back the tape anytime, right? It is possible. There is, precedence for that. So we're still in the dance. We've got the most garbage dumpster fire of a franchise ever coming to Lambeau Field next week. We're going to boat race the Chicago Bears to end our season at home. And we're going to go into the playoffs and hopefully go steal a win from them boys out in Philly. So we'll see. Anything can happen, guys. Anything can happen.
Here's the thing, too. What's off the table next week? How many times have we seen a week 18, or in the past, a week 17 matchup where it's like they get a chance to play Spuller and knock this team out of the playoffs?
Not this year.
Nah, we're at least a 7 seed. We're good. We're in, right? Yep. So that's kind of off the table. If you're the Chicago Bears, I'm going to be real here. I think it's realistic to think they might be going, hey, boys, let's make sure we get a little bit higher pick here. Not that the players are going to go out and lose the game on purpose, but you might make a few decisions injury-wise the week leading up that you might take your foot off the throttle a little bit, right? Now, there's going to be players that are on the field that are going, hey, I'm playing for a contract. I'm playing for a spot on this roster next year. Of course, there's probably not many people on that team that want to be on that roster next year, but that's a story for a different day, right? But, again, Randy Cleavers, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Really appreciate you. So anything else you guys want to hit at on here other than like week 18, if the Lions win, they're the 1 seed. If the Vikings win, they're the 1 seed.
The only other one would be Tampa and Atlanta would be our only other worry. But at that point, wouldn't be us playing them. After we lost, right, we wouldn't be able to make it to the 5th seed. So we're stuck at 6 or 7. Yeah,
we were talking about Mandy was up here going, pull up that playoff thing. Let's see if we're going to Atlanta or not. She was ready, dude. She was going to go to Atlanta bad. But yeah, so like if Carolina wins next week and Tampa loses, it still doesn't matter, right? I mean, well, if we go to this week with Washington and Atlanta not. If Atlanta were to win, they're in the playoffs. but they're the 4 seed. So, yeah, there's absolutely no chance we're going to Atlanta. So it's either going to be – it looks like it's either going to be Philly or L.A., right?
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm excited, guy. I don't know about you all. Listen, it sucked. That first half was some of the worst football I've ever watched in my life. But we're in the dance, And, again, anything can happen. And, Tim, you kind of talked about this in the text, unless I misunderstood you. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matt LaFleur's pissed. They're going to go back this week, and you're going to see the best week of preparation.
Yep.
And if they do get bounced in the first round, it's not going to be because they're not prepared. It's going to be because they're just not good enough. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely true. And it's okay to be frustrated and pissed off right now because we felt like we had a chance to win this game. And again, I agree with the sentiment. Hey, this team never laid down, a lot of fight, played till the end, all of that. But I'm sure Matt's just as tired as I am of having to say that. Like enough of that. Let's start winning these damn ball games. And let's not let these teams make us look foolish. And I think you're right, Clayton. I think Matt's cut from that cloth. That's why, we call him Tupac LaFleur for a reason, right? He's probably already looking at tape. He's probably already setting meetings. And I don't think the guys are going to have an easy week here going into the Bears game at all. So we'll see how they respond.
I think the storyline that's going to really lead the headlines, if you will, when we go into week 1 of the playoffs, right, the wild card round, is I don't expect them to play some of these banged up players next week, right? They're not going to rush Christian out there if he's not 100%. They're not going to rush Evan out there if he's not 100%. Quay Walker, right? Yep. So now the initial conversation is going to be, is there rust? Just be ready, right? The age-old argument or conversation of rest or rust, right?
That may explain some of Bullard's play tonight. He came out first game off of injury. He's in the slot, and all of a sudden, bam, Zhang smacks his head, and now we got to put Bullard back there. And Bullard looked like a dude looking for directions, man.
And again, it's tough, Tim. Right? If he knew that, we talked about it this whole week. I was wrong. I thought they were going to put Eric Stokes out there from the get go, right? But if that was the case, they already practiced with Zane at safety the whole week. Bullard was at slot the whole week. Yep. That's all that's what he was practicing. And again, we asked him to go to another position. How many times have we done that this year to this rookie? I mean, obviously he didn't have a great game, but I'm still not mad at his performance because the dude is learning 2 positions and still doing decent. I mean, I love the way he tackles.
Yeah. Keep him in the slot. I'd rather they threw Keyshawn back there next to McKinney and put Stokes on the boundary and left Bullard in the slot. But, I mean, that's why I'm not a coach because I don't know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, why not Oladapo? Why not, a rookie safety is a rookie safety, man.
At some point,
like,
what do you got to lose?
Especially when you're down 17 points. I mean, what the hell?
and guys, we were jacked about the Bullard draft pick. And the reality is he could end up being a great NFL player. Yep. But as it sits right now, he is not there. His coverage – man, Ansley was eating his lunch on the sideline. He gave up, in my opinion, I got to look at the all-22. In my opinion, he gave up 2 touchdowns tonight. 14 points were on him. All right? Yeah. And you go, okay, well, what's the precedent? What's he done all year? His coverage has been his weakness all year long. It has. Josh Martin, we're going to come back to this conversation, but Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, what's our record against playoff teams this year? 0-5, I believe. Right, guys? 0-4. You know what that means, Josh? We're due.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. So we got 2 of those sitting in the hopper for the playoff run. And it would be the second win against, or it'd be second win against Philly if they try to push us. But I'm not mad. At least it happened now.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's a valid point, Josh. It really is, man. I don't want to brush over it and go, oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
This was a wake-up call for this team.
Yeah.
I think it's a learning wake-up call for this Packers team.
I agree. All right. So back to the conversation we were just having. John Capel says, Anderson's concussion sure hurt. Bullard got beat numerous times and not aggressive in his zone. Still a team loss. Yes, great fighting. I agree with all of it. Anderson's concussion was as soon as he got up off the turf wobbly, I went, oh, no.
Yeah, but you guys
I was up there talking to myself. I was the only one in the studio going, oh, no. Like this is not good. Bullard's about to kick out there to safety, and we are screwed. And he may have even started there. But if Anderson, let's say that Bullard, now I have to go back and look at, let's say Bullard started at safety. If if Zane Anderson doesn't get that concussion, I think at some point they do put Zane Anderson out there because Bullard was getting cooked so much. But like Matt said, you understand that you're down to your third string safety already. If you did pull Bullard, like you said, Tim, you're talking about moving a corner back there.
Yep.
Or because remember, Omar Brown was not activated. That's the first thing I thought of too, was like, oh, we didn't activate Omar today. So, or we didn't activate him, right? So it's like
elevated but not active. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it's like, as soon as Zane went out, it's all right. It's Bullard all day, boys.
The hard thing for me was watching that replay, and I mean, I hate to say it because it sounds like I'm throwing him under the bus, but Zane did that to himself. That was terrible tackling technique, and
head down.
I hope it's not head and neck. I hope it's just, hopefully it's just a concussion and he can clear the protocol. But that looked really bad on that second look. Crown of the helmet down. All the young players out there, that keep your head up, see what you're hitting. He turned that head down, and that knocked him right out of the game.
Our second safety to go down with a concussion. I mean, that's not something you can't live on that.
Right. Yep. Definitely. And if there's one positive that you could take out of this game and everything we're just talking about, Zane Anderson will probably not play next week, which means Javon Bullard can knock some more of that rust off in a game that means absolutely nothing next week, right? So
any safeties on the free agent market? Right?
Yeah. And practice at the spot play at the spot he's been practicing all week too. That might help.
Yeah, exactly. Because
that's a great point.
Yeah.
And that's fair too, right? Let him have a week of prep opposite McKinney back there, and let's see how he looks. Yeah,
great point. Because and what Emilio is referring to, obviously, he's prepped as a nickel all week long, right, Emilio?
Yeah. So that's brutal. I mean, it's like Hafley said multiple times. It is a completely different position. I mean, even that one where it was that post route in for the touchdown, right, where he was kind of sitting, Jefferson was underneath, X kind of spun down. And Bullard split in between that wide receiver and that, the wide receiver sat on the curl and Carrington was there or Keyshawn was there, but you got to wait a half second. Maybe you were thinking, what am I supposed to do on this play as a nickel? Wait, all right, I'm safety. You're half a second late. You got to just react. If you're thinking out there, you're a second late.
Yeah, that definitely matters. That definitely matters. To be able to just flip a switch and go, okay, everything that I was taught in my keys all week long, especially with the match adjustments.
Yep.
Nope, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
It changes completely with safety. And it did look like some match principle, like the touchdown to Naylor on the post or the crosser. To me, it looked like, and again, we got to go watch the All-22, it looked like match that he was supposed to match up with the 2, meaning if the 1 and the 2 go more than 7 to 10 yards, depending on where their key is down the field, then it becomes man. I believe it was Stokes on that side. Stokes went vert with the 1. The 2 got deep on the post, and Bullard just dropped him. And Xavier was already too shallow, and he tried to recover after the ball was thrown and just played it. That's what it looked like. And again, we may never know, right? We may never know because we're not in the meeting room. But that would be my guess that it was on Bull right there. Now, obviously, the second one where they brung the blitz and Tim was cussing so loud, I heard him all the way down here in Tennessee. That was just Bullard one-on-one getting beat, right? So 2 touchdowns for Bull, I think.
That's why, like you said, like it makes what Keyshawn's doing this year more impressive to me when you think about it that way. Because it's like Keyshawn does the same thing. He pressed to be on the boundary, and now it's like, hey, play the slot. Hey, pick up some water, bring the popcorn cart around. Like he takes it all on. Not to mention he's playing in special teams as well. So it is impressive, and it just shows that's a lot to ask, especially of a first-year player to do that.
Yeah. Definitely. Number 1 Packer fan in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says long developing plays and wide receivers dropping passes that are catchable. I don't personally remember a lot of drops that were just like, oh, that's just a wide receiver drop. Maybe I overlooked it, but that long developing plays comment, I completely agree with it.
Yeah.
You guys remember the one that sticks out to me was the Jaden Reed where he kind of laid out trying to dive for it. I don't really consider that a drop when you're having to dive for a pass. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys remember any by chance? Not to try to dunk on number 1 Packer fan. I'm just saying I personally don't remember. But.
Well, I think we were talking about that one earlier, Clay, you and me, where it was like it was like a slot cross that was deep, like a 15-yard dig and then a 9 route. And all we had were like chips on the edge and then he got sacked. You know what I mean? So I think that's maybe where he was coming from, which I get, I do. But I think that the long developing plays kind of also paired with the decision on some of those play actions where you got, the whole line sliding left and the blitz is coming from the right. And I mean, the back didn't even fake, I think it was Emmanuel or Brooks, didn't even fake the run to the left and just was like, I need to try to lay my body out in front of these guys. And then Jordan gets, blown up and sacked. So that's the only issue. But again, you have to go under center in a stadium like that because the crowd's going crazy. And I still don't like our shotgun snap. I think that's something we still need to hammer out. So I'm not mad about him going under center, but you always turn the back and it's just a risk.
Do you think the reason they haven't really messed with that, because we've been talking about that all year with the snap and things like that, right? It's like, do you think they just kind of figure like Josh probably isn't the center next year?
I don't know. I think after we had that issue in Detroit, I think all they decided was, all right, Josh is going to look between his legs and it's going to be on Jordan's leg, which is cool. But then
Detroit was just bull rushing us that whole time. Yeah.
Right. And again, you still have both tackles looking inside. And then they have to get back out to their eyes on their work out on a wide 9. I mean, you're asking them to spin all the way around. It's another half second you're losing.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Good point. All right. Ron Sample, I like this. My favorite comment of the night. I'm just here for the overreactions. Love it. Nick McSwain in the chat. LOL. I love how anytime the Packers lose, the quote, LaFleur is a terrible coach, people come out of the woodworks. One of the winningest coaches of all time and always talked about being the best play caller. It's a very good point. And again, we got to get to the point where we just kind of overlook those folks.
Tell them to go ahead and
sit your butt outside.
I had to ban someone in the chat. All right. Earlier we create the stream so people can get in here and chat and talk about the game. And I usually don't even pay much attention to it because I'm charting the game. I'm busy. But there was one individual, and I won't name him. I don't want to call him out. And I'm going to unban him because he's been in here for a while. But it was just negative. I'm talking about like 15, 20 comments. And I'm watching it going, man. And there's people complaining. I get a text message, hey, can you ban this knucklehead? And I'm like, I don't want to ban people. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you can't. No one wants to get in here and just listen to you bitch and go off the time. We don't want to do it. So yes, you can disagree. You can have negative comments. Great. But when it's literally all negative comments and it's the same thing over and over and over. And then when the team starts to come back, could have been one of the greatest comebacks of the year, right?
Yep.
When they come back, the comment immediately turns to, oh, here come the excuses. Oh, well, we fought. Right. It's like,
and then these are the people that want to convince us that they're Packer fans. Like, I'll never understand how you're a fan of something that brings you so much anger and frustration, and you're just negative and mad all the time, and you can't find the good in anything. There was some good to pull out of this loss today. It was tough, but this team is not out, and they're not going anywhere. And we're still trending in the right direction. There's no reason to be negative. I'm glad you banned that, dude. I'm glad, Clayton. I wouldn't let it back. Bye, Felicia. Bye.
And I got a few messages going, thank you. But again, I'm going to unban him. But I just want him to know, like, man, let's just don't. Everybody's laughing. He was so mad. I just don't. What I don't want to do is cater to that. I don't want this show to be that. It should be about what happened, why did it happen. Let's learn from the game. Let's try, we don't need someone who's just going to come in here and just be, a Debbie Downer the whole time. And life's too short. In 3-4 weeks, however long the Packers last in the playoffs, it may be February. I hope it is. We're going to go, damn, we ain't got football for another half a year. But during the season, we're going to put up a knuckleheads trying to drag us down every step. Even when it's a win like last week, just can't do it. Cannot do it. Can't do it. AFAM in the chat said, thanks for unbanning me. It wasn't AFAM. Although AFAM, here's what's crazy. AFAM can be one of the most negative people in here, right? He has never done what that dude was doing.
Yeah, never.
So, and AFAM, we love you, man, and that creepy mustache that you're not allowed within 100 feet of a school with. So we absolutely – all right, let's move on to the box score real quick. We'll go rapid fire. Then we got to give away. We got to give away a Dorsey level. So, and
Emilio's ready. Emilio's ready for another daddy soda.
Emilio,
in the damn wheel, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
If you need to go, Emilio, you just hop off, okay, buddy? In case we go over a little bit here. I wanted to make sure we hit all the super chats. We appreciate everybody. Matter of fact, we got another one just came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hit this real quick, and then we'll do the box score. TC Fan with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, Brady made a great point talking about the lack of an intermediate passing game. Big reason why the passing offense has been feast or famine all year. And you notice in the second half when things started to open up, what did you see? Tucker Kraft on that climb, but it was like a mid climb. It wasn't you were looking for the second window, right? You were really starting to pick the defense apart and taking what they're getting. What did they do to us all day long? They kept hitting those digs, right? The digs right behind the backers. That
Same thing Miami hit us with.
Bingo. So that's why if you were to say, Clayton, what was wrong with the passing game today, in your opinion, it would definitely be I did not like the scheme. I did not like how we were.
Where was the dagger concept? We didn't see any of that today.
Right. Yeah. Now you heard them talk about Minnesota running dagger, didn't you?
Yeah,
running a couple of times. So, again, TC fan, thank you, buddy. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm glad Brady's seen it too because I felt like I was taking crazy pills over here, man. All right, let's go to the box score. Love finishes 19 of 30 for 185 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Listen, there was one sack that was absolutely horrible. It was right outside of the 2-minute warning.
Oh,
you cannot take
should have threw it away. Yeah,
you cannot take that sack. You've got to throw that ball away. So that was a big critique for me on Love, and I know he's trying to make a play, and I guarantee you, Matt LaFleur will have no problem with it. Like he's trying to make a play. He's been very open and honest about, hey, I want our dudes to put themselves in a position to take shots and make plays like that. Because the reality is, if Love completes that pass and it's a 30-yard gain, I'm not even mentioning that he could have took a sack there, right? But in that situation, I really feel like he should have threw it away because it costs you like 12 or 13 seconds. I want to say something like that, and that's probably at least one play, possibly 2 plays, depending on the defensive coverage and the play call. So 19 to 30, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 3 sacks for 18 yards. Josh Jacobs, 17 carries for 69 yards. 17 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Wilson, 6 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown. So Emmanuel Wilson continues to do great things. Romeo Dobbs, what's that?
I said that dude just cooks when he gets the ball.
He does, man.
I just caught the ball, man.
So, Dobbs, 7 catches for 58 yards on 11 targets. You can tell Love was really looking for him when he did start going underneath. Tucker Kraft, 2 catches for 53 yards. The Yak God, I mean, he just continues to do it, boys.
He's got to get more than 2 targets, though. We got to get him that. We got to feed him that damn ball. We got to do it.
You're looking at what, 26.5 yards a catch? Am I looking at that right, boys?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I think he had the longest, our only explosive play for the longest time of 18 yards, and then he hit his second one to 35.
Yep. Yeah. So and that 18-yarder wasn't an explosive, but the 35 was.
Right.
I want to say we had 1 run, and that Tucker Kraft pass for 35 yards was our only explosive plays of the day.
Over 20, right? Yeah. I think the broadcast said explosive being over 15 or something, but yeah.
Some people that look at it that way, I may get to the point where I start charting that way, but the old school way was 20 and 10, so I'm going to kind of stick with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft, so 2 catches, 53 yards, along with 35. Dontavion Wicks, 4 catches for 43 yards. Listen, 5 targets.
Good game from him today.
It seems like his hands are getting better, right?
Yeah.
Caught 4 of the 5 targets. Bo Melton, 4 targets, 3 catches for 18 yards. I thought he played tough. I know it wasn't there's a minute amount of stats there, but I thought he played decent. Reed got blanked, right? One catch for 6 yards on 4 targets. You could tell their focus was take his butt away from this offense, and it really, really did hurt. Now, I think part of it was those tall climbs as opposed to the mid climbs, right? I think that played a role in that too. Yeah. Luke Musgrave, 1 catch for 4 yards, and Malik Heath, that 1 catch for 3 yards. But it was a tutter, baby.
Hey, Jacob called it, man. He called that in the pregame. He said Malik Heath was going to pop up in this one. He was right. Definitely. I love him, man. Malik's a dog, dude. That guy come ice cold off the bench. No problem. You need a cutter? I got you. No problem.
Left the water cooler, came right back to it. But I don't even need to take anyone there this time.
Exactly. So Josh Jacobs lost that fumble. Carrington fumbled after his pick, but luckily we recovered that.
That's why we were screaming last week when he tried to bring that one out of the end zone, because that's exactly what we were afraid was going to happen.
It's not a loaf of bread.
Hey, speaking of loaf of bread, though, we had Carl Brooks, man. Carl Brooks saved the day on that one.
Carl Brooks looked good.
Here's a guy recovering a fumble.
Seriously, man, to me, I would be surprised if he doesn't have a good PFF grade. Like it seemed like all day long he was in the backfield. He was making plays. Let's see here. This is a perfect example of what we talk about with tackles. You see tackle stats and think, boy, they had a great game. But what were the depth of the tackle? Javon Bullard led the team with 11 tackles, 9 solo. But boy, I can't remember one time where it's like, man, he came up and stopped that play. It was just typically 8, 9, 12 yards down the field making a tackle, right?
Yep.
Adrian Cooper, 11 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss. I repeat, 4 tackles for a
That's
loss.
crazy.
Bro, he's a stud. We got us one there. There's no doubt about it. Every week I expect he's going to take a step back, and it's okay. It doesn't mean he's not as good as we thought he was. Every week he takes another step forward. So he's going to be a stud. Keyshawn Nixon, 9 tackles. Eric Wilson, 9 tackles. Let's see, tackles for a loss. Isaiah McDuffie with 1. Carl Brooks with 1. He also had a sack. Rashawn Gary with 2 tackles for a loss. To me, Rashawn has become a much better run defender this year. There's no doubt about that. TJ Slayton, I thought, had a pretty good day. Yeah. Evidently not. He only had 2 tackles, but, man, they were both run stops. They were like 3 yards or less, right? So they were important tackles for sure. And let's see if there's any more sacks here. I don't think there is. And then, of course, you had the Carrington Ballantyne interception. I'm really excited about Carrington. Brandon McManus, 2 for 2 on extra points, 1 for 1 on field goals. We wish he was 2 for 2 because you might win this ball game. It's just tough to let go of. And, again, Daniel Whelan is just an absolute weapon at punter, man.
Round of applause for the Irishman. Thank you, Danny boy. Thank you.
Irishman. All right.
That was frustrating to see. He boomed that one, man. He kicked a knuckler, and he muffed that punt, and we had nobody down there to fall on that ball. Mm-hmm. I know Coach Bisaccia was livid on the sideline after that one because that was a chance for an explosive play from your special teams, which really would have tilted that game.
That would have changed the game.
That would have changed the whole game. You got to maximize any opportunity, and you got to know when you've got, like I said, arguably the best punter in the National Football League, kicking moon balls like that. You got to get down there, man. You got plenty of time. There's hang time on those punts. Got to get down there, get your hands on it.
All right, we're going to do the giveaway in just a second. Let's go around the horn with these last 2 comments. Coach Lynn, rapid fire. Who did we miss more, Quay or Watson? Go, Emilio.
Quay.
All right, Tim?
Quay.
I'm going to go with Watson just simply because you didn't – you're trying to hit on those big plays, right? And I feel like maybe Watson hits on one of those. You take a shot play. Like Bo Melton, Jordan throws into double coverage to Bo Melton. It's like, I don't know what you've seen there. Maybe the safety was late getting over. I don't know. But I would like to think that Christian Watson's worth at least 2 points in a ball game. I really would. So I'm going to go with Watson there. Last comment here from the chat. Aaron Rodgers, our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers, says, Clayton, imagine this. Packers are the 7th seed, go into Philly and win in the wild card. That sound familiar, boys? Go into Detroit and win in the divisional. Go into Minnesota, win the NFC Championship. Then they dethrone KC in the Super Bowl. Boy.
Oof. Manifest it. Speak it into existence. Let's go.
I'm going to be real, Aaron. It sounds highly, highly, highly unlikely. But it's starting with that wild card round in Philly. Go back and watch 2010, what happened. Yep. You guys remember that?
Yeah,
we beat Philadelphia in the wild card round in Philly. So, love the positivity there, Aaron. And Coach Lynn, we already hit on that. All right, let's do a giveaway. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's get that pinky wheel fired up. Let's go.
Pinky spinning, baby. Here we go. All right, some people are going, what are y'all talking about? If you're new here,
we're talking about
how about these hands?
This is how we do our giveaways here. All right, we got 120 entries this week. So these are everybody that's in our Patreon group, at least member of one of the 3 tiers, or a YouTube member here, as Eric Sutherland mentions. Don't even worry about entering. It's all rigged. Okay. Right. But what we're going to do to ensure, Eric, that it's not rigged, although we know it's not going to help, we're going to shuffle this thing. How many times are we shuffling it tonight, boys? Somebody in the chat, give me a number.
2. We lost by 2. Shuffle it twice.
Hey, that'll work. All right. There's no way we could have predicted that, right? Here we go. 1, 2 shuffles. Let's spin this sucker. Y'all ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. This is for a away white Dorsey Levens autographed jersey from pristineauctions.com. Beckett got the certificate of authenticity, all that good stuff. We're going to spin it 3 times. The first one it lands on is the true winner. If they ghost us, the second one will get it. If they ghost us, the third one will get it. If the third one ghosts us, Emilio will get it. Just kidding. He ain't getting a damn thing.
I better, dude. If it lands on me, I'm taking it. Is it a white? Is it an away Dorsey?
It's an away Dorsey.
Oh, I need a white jersey. I'll take it. No problem.
All right, man. I'll send you this Devondre Campbell when I got one. Here we go. Spin this thing and see who's winning the autographed Dorsey Levens away jersey. The winner is.
Oh, it almost landed on the pinky.
John
Smith. Oh, we're going to find him no problem.
That's going to be fun trying to verify that one.
I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus, right? That's how that's going. All right, John Smith, he is from the very tip top of the mountains of Caucasus. I promise.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. All right,
guy.
let's spin it again. If John Smith doesn't come forward, the autographed Dorsey 11 jersey goes to. Oh my God! It was almost Eric Sutherland.
Oh man!
No way.
Bucks raised
wow!
We're gonna spin it 4 times because
Yeah,
we know he don't want.
We
this
can't
one.
give it to him. No.
Well, we got to honor it, but I'm sure he will not.
Do it for Dorsey, man. Don't give that
Okay.
Buccaneers fan his jersey.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, and
Very
then
good.
if neither of those two come forward, the jersey will go to.
Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy. Come on, Uncle Eric. Oh,
Whoa! All right. We have to break out the symbols for this one. Andres MX. Am I thinking that right, boys?
Yeah.
that's
I
close.
get to try to draw this little squiggly. This is exciting. Emilio, that's your people that made that squiggly.
Yeah.
right?
Yep. That's how you emphasize letters, Clay. The
Well,
tilde.
you know how we emphasize letters back home?
Capitals and not capitals.
We
No, you
put 'em-
emphasize them like this.
we give them to that postman on horseback. That's how we emphasize.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
And so, all right, that's it, guys. That's your winners again. John Smith is the first place winner. If he doesn't come forward, Bucks, Rays, Bolts wins the autographed Dorsey 11 jersey. If they don't come forward, then it's Emilio's guy there. It's probably his burner, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's Andre with a C circled SMX.
Because I know we have an Andres MX, but I don't know if it's that Andres MX that's always
Probably
in
not. That's a different one for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. All right.
I think that is Andre's MX6. which
Yes.
is-
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Make a car. I'm not sure. But all right, that's it, guys. Anything else, man? Appreciate y'all toughing it out through this one. This was, like I said, a tough loss, but we shall live to play another day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wish
Happy
we had
it
a good
happened
Monday
now.
tomorrow, but that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get one more of those before the year's over with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Against the Bears next week, we need that. That'll drive us right into the playoffs. At least it happened the week before. You get a win, roll into the playoffs. I'll take that. And again, at least it happened not in the playoffs. Obviously, you're going to lose at some point, but I think that you get that learning lesson this week. A lot of tape to learn from, and your 4 most recent games. I think we have a lot to study and build on moving forward with the team.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Tim. Anything else, buddy?
No, man. Go Pack, go. Hopefully we get some guys back going into the playoffs, and hopefully the injuries we had today are not super, super serious. Probably see you guys in the morning, right, Clay? Morning show, and hit the news, see what we can find out, and get ready for the Bears.
That's right, man. So what we're going to do is tomorrow morning we'll recap kind of all the action from today and give you guys an update on the playoff picture. As Atlanta and Washington are tied up 7-7 in the first quarter. So go give that a watch. It's going to be a good finish, I'm sure. Are we Atlanta Falcons fans? We are tonight, right? We want Washington to help us secure that number 6 seed, I believe. So let's root for the Falcons tonight for sure. And Bates, I think, had a great comment there. You guys had it up just a second ago. Yeah, thanks up, chins up, everyone. Go Pack, go. Hey, man, appreciate you, Bates. Again, guys, tough loss, but hey, we're blessed to be Packers fans. There's no doubt about it, man. The fight this team showed, it was absolutely awesome. So, Emilio, Tim, thank y'all for your time, but I know this wasn't an easy one to do, but appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a great
Bears
night.
week. Let's
Yep.
go.
Go
That's
Pack.
right. All right, everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.
And we go.
We out.
Bye, guys.